hey everybody, welcome.
Hey everybody.
Welcome to Video Podcast. For those of you that are tuning in on the YouTube channel, we are back to talk about our amazing Hero Collector, Eaglemoss, Ecto-1 subscription kits. We're going to be working on issue 8, which starts off with stages 20, what are we on, Chris? 23, 24, and maybe if we're lucky we'll get to 25 here. But very exciting. This is the first one of 2021 that we're going to be doing. If you are new to this format, if you are watching here on the video, you get a lovely, quad view here where you see Chris building and myself building. If you're listening on the podcast, there is still plenty for you to do because Chris and I just shoot the shit while we're doing this. We talk about stuff that's going on. We will be talking about that very cool photograph that appeared in Empire magazine, both online and in print, for Ghostbusters Afterlife, so don't worry about that.
That really cool photo of Ryan Dole in his muscle that showed up at Yes Have Some Podcast's Facebook page.
We're going to be Ryan Dole, the Thirst Trap, and we'll also be talking about some other stuff that's been going on in pop culture, obviously. So if you're tuning into the audio version, fear not, there is still plenty of awesome stuff coming your way as well. And you get to hear Chris and I swear and curse at all of the tiny little parts and things that happen here.
So much cursing and swearing.
So I'm very excited. Issue 8, we finally, right before we closed out last year, we have this chassis, which you can see in Chris's view right now, that has started coming together. We've got, the foundation of the car. And I wanted to put it behind me and I forgot. I got the base for my display base for my car, and it's as big as the Proton Pack that's right over my shoulder here in the video. It's huge. The car is going to be ridiculously huge by the time we finish this, and looking at the chassis that we have started, it only makes sense. So let's do it. Let's dive in. Chris, it looks like you've already kind of gotten your stuff set up here. Get it going. If you flip through the issue, as usual, they give you your wonderful table of contents here as to what is in each stage. We're just going to flip ahead to stage 23. We're going to be doing the rear chassis and the fender liners, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to set this over here, and I got to work on grabbing these shock absorbers. And while I am doing that, let's get... this is the question that everybody wants us to address, so we're just going to dive into it right away, Chris. Empire Magazine's first look at Ghostbusters Afterlife. Very cool to start seeing some press here. If you haven't seen it, which I'm sure is not possible if you are a Ghostbusters fan, it's a photo of McKenna Grace, Finn Wolfhard, and Logan Kim all in the Ecto-mobile. We're going to call it the Ecto-1. I don't know if it's going to have another designation. And they're all in flight suits. All three of them appear to be in flight suits. If you look at the Empire on the website, go to the big website. And I think actually in the print version, which is coming out too, they've got a nice high-res version where you can see just a little bit of the patches on the corners of their shoulders. And I get a chill just talking about it right now, Chris. It's so cool to have that be, not like there was any question that we were going to see flight suits, but just to have that confirmation.
Yeah. Well, confirmation, because if I recall correctly, earlier trailer footage and all that, people were suspicious that it looked like Finn was in a jumpsuit, flight suit top, at the very least there.
And we've kind of been wondering, we do know based upon interviews from, I think, Carrie Coon and also Ernie Hudson that people are suiting up. Just to what extent, who is suiting up, and for what purpose, we don't know. Ernie has flat out said it was great to put on the jumpsuit again, so it's like, well, I guess Ernie's telling us that
Ernie's wearing it.
He's going to be in a jumpsuit. It's just great to, well, two things, Chris. It's great to see this photo just to get another glimpse of what is to come. But it's also just good to see some press starting again for the film. Even though we talked about it last week, if you haven't listened to the episode, there is a very solid chance that movie might move again. But at the very least, I just want to make sure I don't screw this up as I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to walk and chew bubblegum here at the same time, which is always difficult. But at the very least, we're going to start seeing some sort of press and photos and maybe a trailer. We talked about that last week too.
Yeah. Well, I would like to point out, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but the lead time on print is about 3 months, which would fit quite nicely if, for example, because this is the March issue, which means it would come out
And this is a big issue that we know they had a lot of collaborators, like Edgar Wright and Ryan Johnson, and a bunch of people have collaborated on this issue. So this has been long in the making.
Long in the making. So I think the Ghostbusters story, it's good. I think, but it's part of a continual rollout.
Yeah, and
but I think this might be part of the new plan, which was stuff that was supposed to be way more condensed, is now going to kind of keep the humming alive until
just parse it out a little bit at a time. Yeah, just really sort of
just because the timing for this story does tend to suit when the movie was last moved to.
Well, yeah, you're right. It would have been March. The first move was to March before we moved to the June 11th date. So yeah, you're right. If come January, nope, I think I just dropped a screw. Terrible news, everybody.
Drink, everybody, drink.
Luckily, they give you another one. I mean,
it's not a game, but if
you were watching on my feed, you saw that in the making. It's tough because, this could have been something that was planned for the March release. This could be, I guess with print, they could always kill the article and maybe fill it with an ad or something. But, it does feel like, it feels like we're getting just a little bit of something. This is for all the people that have been hitting up social media constantly asking for the trailer. And it's like, well, we can't give you the trailer yet, but here's just a little something for you.
This is the tricky balance that they're in the middle of right now, which is, you can't make everybody happy, and there's going to be wildly divergent opinions about what people want and when. So, this probably goes a long way to... Sorry, print tiny. Going a long way to, just sort of... I don't know if you're going to make the people that are vehemently demanding a trailer, but, at least the middle ground, this will help out a little bit.
Yeah, and it was it was a pleasant, Monday morning surprise too. Not expecting any news out of Ghostbusters Afterlife anytime, and then logging in for social media of the morning and seeing like, hey, here's a photo. Oh, wow, that's great. I love those little unexpected surprises, as opposed to the anticipation of, hey, this thing is coming and it's coming 2 months from now, and then you gotta wait it out.
This movie continues to make Ivan Reitman misty-eyed.
Yes, so the article that accompanied it did talk to Jason Reitman with a few quotes. I thought it was interesting, one, that we know that Ivan Reitman is staying safe, as if there's any question. He's been hanging out probably in his awesome Montecito compound. But at the same time, he wanted to see the film, so he had to go get tested. He got COVID tested and went to go see it in December, which does line up with some of the social media posts that we saw about the film wrapping and all of the things that we had talked about on the podcast up to the end of the year. Did I do this wrong? Son of a gun. Hold on.
This card just keeps getting longer and longer. This beast of a piece.
I swear I'm better at multitasking.
The undercarriage is 3 chunks long. This is the 3rd chunk. Good heavens. Because what we heard all the way back to FanFest and all that, which is a ways now, is that when Jason pitched the idea to his dad, it got his dad all weepy.
Yeah.
And we all took that as an interesting sign. And here we are at the movie. It gone for he heard the treatment idea, and now here we are at the end with the movie done. And he's gotten to see the whole thing, and he's still making them.
And even said to his son, I'm proud to be your dad, which we've heard from Jason Reitman, especially at FanFest. He's like, I just want to make my dad proud. My dad is the greatest storyteller that I know, and I want to do him right.
Now, that said, that should not be taken as any indication of the quality of the movie, because that's what dads say to their sons.
Well,
or
true.
should say to their sons. So.
And you also have to, and I know that we've talked about this before, so I apologize if we're stomping on ground that's already been tread upon, but
I don't care.
It's fine. This is also the culmination for Ivan Reitman of, God, how many years just trying to make this damn movie? There is probably a certain sense of, completion, and this thing is finally... not only is this thing finally happening after all of this, false starts and losing Harold and so many things that have happened in the past, and it's his son that's picked up the mantle, which I guess has to also sort of factor into that. It's like, it took my son to finish my work, basically, which... it is a little more, workmanlike than, this is my son finishing my family business or whatever. But it is kind of that in a sense. It's
kind of.
It took Jason to get it done.
We don't know the details of the deal restructuring other than it kind of solidified things like Ghost Corps, but kind of removed the whole committee approach to getting new movies made. And that I think it's pretty clear that did not work out quite how Ivan Reitman would have wanted on 2016. So, having Jason get a canon timeline film going that looks like it's going to be lit AF, as the kids say, I think that must feel pretty good too, because it means then that despite what has transpired before and the restructuring of the deal, that a Reitman that gets it is now, or at least gets the original flavor, or knows how to proceed with the original flavor. Because let's be honest, that's been a problem since Ghostbusters 2 to a degree. Is like, how do you kind of redo the first one? Yeah. So now, and again, we don't know the deal with Jason and all that, but every director that knocks a ball out of the park, is now wielding more say and more power, that he could be along for the ride for the next 2 or 3 movies. So
here's hoping that's the case. But so the print edition of the Empire magazine is on stands now as you're watching or listening to this, and they did promise a little bit more in depth of an article. The Empire magazine online article is pretty great, but yes, it's very thin, and basically just retells everything that we just talked about. But at the same time, it doesn't look like it's going to have any other additional photos. However, there may be some more tidbits that we can get out of that. So once we have that print edition in hand, we'll be sure to report back to you guys. Did you just leave these shock absorbers just kind of hanging like antennae here? Yeah. Okay.
I would point out to you, notice there's a bend in the where the screw goes through.
On the shock absorbers?
In the where it joins.
Yeah.
So in order to keep them slightly out from the thing rather than...
I noticed that. It was tough to tell by their diagram as to if that bend needed to be on the outside or on the inside, but it looked like it needed to be on the inside so that it was kind of jutting them downward a little bit, which would make sense because the tires are going to be right about here. So that's what I was kind of thinking is, if you can see that on my video. All right, I got a
screwdriver head here that I'm using is perfect, but the construction is sucky, so that when I try to palm it and apply pressure, it's now cracked at the top, and it's going to
the screwdriver has cracked?
Yeah, the head of it.
Interesting.
Like, it's just a little plastic cap that keeps the whole... It's got one of those screws in a merry-go-round. Oh, there, see?
There you go.
There you go.
Jenga.
Pop goes the weasel. So, anyways, I guess I'm going to take all this out.
So, what else is happening in the world of Ghostbusters? There is
nothing.
So it is a leak, and it's a leak for a product. So I'm not entirely sure if we should talk about it. But if you've been on social media, you have probably seen a Twinkie box that has also appeared previously before. I think again, as we've talked about before, all of these, tie-ins, the grocery items, the promotional tie-ins with like Twinkies and whoever else, they're really having a tough time keeping these up to date because they have to obviously solicit them to the people that need to stock them on the shelves. So the Ghostbusters cereal, for example, is currently the worst kept secret in the grocery industry. We do know a Ghostbusters cereal is coming. We just don't know when and if it's going to tie in with the movie release or if it's going to come out in October for like Halloween. So, Twinkies, we knew it was a pretty safe bet. There would be some sort of Ghostbusters tie-in, and maybe we just leave it at that until we get a better, more official announcement rather than something on an Instagram account.
Right.
And then besides that, the Ernie Hudson thing I thought was kind of brilliant. Did you see that, Chris? The interview that he did with, and forgive me, I can't look it up at the moment because I'm trying to already multitask, but he did an in-camera and audio podcast interview with a group of guys, and I can't remember their names, but he told this great story about working on Ghostbusters Afterlife. And Bill Murray offered him a Thai massage. Did you see and hear that?
I did hear that, and and I'm disappointed because the headline they went with is if Bill Murray offers to pay for you to have a Thai massage, and it was something like, you absolutely, no matter what you do, say no. And I was like, there was a good quote joke there, buddies, from this movie he did once. You may have heard of.
Yeah, I think they swung for that and they didn't quite get there.
No, didn't quite. 5 more minutes. Should have spent 5 more minutes.
Yeah, one more pass on the copy. But yeah,
frankly, that's Ernie's fault, because if Bill Murray offers you anything, you're going for a ride. It could be innocuous. Hey, you want to go over to the candy store across the street? Well, that's going to be like the candy store trip to end all candy store trips.
It will be. You're going to end up on a plane to
the
Guatemala.
Factory.
Yeah, because he loves this candy that's made in Guatemala. But so to paraphrase, if you haven't seen it, Ernie Hudson tells this great story about being on the set for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and Bill Murray, being Bill Murray, offered both Ernie and some of the other cast a hotel Thai massage. And the conversation that leads up to that is, the usual, like, we hear Bill has an 800 number. Is that how you get in touch with him? And, Ernie says, oh, every once in a while I get a call from Bill, and, if I miss him, I have no way to get back in touch with him. And, it was really great reconnecting with him on this film. But I had forgotten, just who Bill Murray is, the mystique, the kind of persona that Bill Murray is, just kind of, it washes over you. And so when he comes up to you and he's like, I got you a Thai massage, it's going to come to your room, you can't really turn him down. It's just like, oh, okay, sure. And then Ernie goes on to say that this Thai massage that the masseuse gave him was so painful and so uncomfortable, and Ernie, being the amazing and nice person that he is, didn't want to say, oh my God, this hurts, please stop. He was just kind of going along with it. And
Ernie,
hurt him.
let's all remember here, regardless of his age, Ernie is ripped.
Dude, yeah, Ernie's not
he is like
Ryan
not the sensitive
Dole man
ripped.
here. Yeah, he's Ryan Dole ripped. Ernie can probably has a high pain tolerance. So whatever this masseuse was doing to him probably hurt like hell. And so he comes out of the room, and I guess Bill was there waiting for him, and he's like, so you like the massage, huh? And Ernie's like, yes, thanks, Bill. Again, being
Never
a gracious
do it again.
person. But then the masseuse comes back and hurts him again, and he's talking about he still has scars, and she like broke the skin, and his wife was just so, like, she was so entertained by it that you let Bill do what? Well, that's on you.
That is 100% on you, man. Okay, how does this go?
All right,
I'm up to step 4. Where are you at?
I was gonna say I'm on step 4 now also. So I think this is now connecting to our greater piece. Before I throw this tray, let me just make sure I'm not missing any parts. Get out of here,
I'm going to
tray.
have to restructure my workspace here to get...
Yeah, this is, I
eventually
mean...
the car is starting to...
If you're looking at my video, I'm about to put where... So this is the entirety of my desk except for the laptop over here to the left. I am about to put what we have down on
I'm
the
like
table.
using my recorder's case to
And
like...
it doesn't...
prop
It won't fit. I mean, I also have a little TV tray next to me to kind of assist
Right.
with things here.
I've never been gladder that I hit Craigslist. It is the heaviest ass thing ever, but some company was upgrading their office furniture, and I picked up an oak veneer conference room, like meeting room table. It's huge. And it's heavy.
That's
solid.
the desk that you've got there. Oh, that's wonderful.
And it is got. Well, I mean, I've got junk on the end. I'm at the point where now I gotta do something about the junk because this thing is. It's at its max limit here.
So let's see. So the wheel wells kind of come in here.
Okay, I got a LM.
Okay.
Oh, metal. Shoot.
Yeah. Did you pre-tap?
No, I gotta do some pre-tapping here.
I gotta move my whiskey. This is fool's move here, everybody. All right. So let's see. And then
there's
just kind of
Western. There's a country song in there somewhere. Tapping the screws and moving your whiskey. Nerd country.
Okay. There we go. Nerd country.
Any musical talent? Do you want to start a nerd country band? Because I think it's overdue.
I have zero musical talent. It's very funny.
Shoot.
We just watched. Have you watched? Do you guys have The Hustler up there? The Craig Ferguson game show. Has that reached Canada yet?
I knew he had a show, but we don't have it.
He's
or
had
if
a
we
couple.
do, it's not on. I got who's got it? Who's streaming it?
It's ABC and Hulu down here, I want to say.
Well,
yeah.
I don't have Hulu, and I ditched terrestrial cable ages ago, so...
So it's basically the premise of it is...
he hustles.
He hustles. No, it's to tell the truth, but with a little bit of a sort of cat and mouse murder mystery hint of... So there are 4 people in a room, and one of them is the hustler, and Is
it Among Us for middle-aged people?
Yes, it really is. Or what's the Secret Hitler? What's the other one?
Secret, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a TV game show of what the board game industry calls social. What do they call it? Social. I can't remember now.
It's like it is. It's social engineering because you have to learn all the questions are about this person, and they give you trivia facts about this person, like they are not on social media. They watch Say Yes to the Dress and they tear up, and then based upon people's reactions, they have to figure out who the hustler is. But it's very good. Anyway, this is a very long way to get around. One of the people that was in the hustler, they are talking about the hustler having a band, the lead up is that they write poetry, and one of the people is like, "Oh, I don't write poetry. I write music." And then another question comes back, and that same person is like, "I'm not a musician." And they're like, "But you said you write music. How does that work?" Funny story, that guy was not the hustler. So I'm still trying to figure out if that was just like a lie. He wanted to sound cool, like he writes music, because he thought the casting agent was watching or something, or what that was all about. But anyway, so I could write you a song, but I am not musically inclined.
Never
and it
mind.
would not be good.
Craig good Yes Have Some is the current songsmith. Craig, nerd country, think about it.
I could see Craig getting some nerd country under his belt, even if it's just a parody version of it. If it's not something that he's doing for serious.
Oh, I think the entire genre is nothing but parody, frankly.
Because he does have a band.
He does.
Shoot, what is Craig's band's name? Craig, what's your band's name?
I can't remember at the
moment.
We're not live.
Either. We're not cool enough to do a Yes Have Some live thing. He does have a band, and I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, Craig.
3 Doors Down.
3 Doors Down.
Third Eye Blind.
Yes.
Just the 3 of us.
Just the 3 of us. Full house. We'll figure that out, and I want to say Critical Mass, but that's not right. Sorry, Craig. Don't hate me. What else has been going on?
Can't make notes for episodes like this because we don't know what we're going to talk about.
No idea. I can't timestamp it either. So there it is.
So suck it.
So there it is. Have you? This is probably where we need to deviate from Ghostbusters. We do have. I don't do. Do I hint toward what we're going to do next week, Chris? How do you feel about letting people know?
You tell people what we're going to do next week, which will remind me what we're going to do next week. Next week,
we have, after years and years of talking about it, we are going to start diving into real Ghostbusters episodes.
Oh, yeah. And I remember.
Yep.
I made a thing for it and everything.
You made a thing for it and everything. I don't want to... I don't want to spoil the surprise of what the thing is that you made for it, because I think that needs to be a big reveal at the launch here. But so I'm excited for that. And if you're not into watching or listening to us build our Ecto kits, and if you're not into the news, I think that this is going to be a fun thing, inspired by a GB fans thread that I had read. We're going to start finally doing stuff that we said we were going to do a long time ago. So stay tuned to that. I need to stop talking for 10 seconds just to find my bearings here.
Hey, everybody, look at my hat. And I know you're saying to yourself, yes, you've had that gray with the tartan undercap William Murray cap. What, are you missing something?
No. Well, this is what I was afraid of. The bigger this thing gets, and the more when you have to flip it over.
Yep.
Like the space that I have now is not really conducive to that. So let's see if I put it on its side like this, maybe.
All right, well, he's wondering to himself,
pray.
I got this hat for Christmas because the other one lost.
You lost your other William Murray hat?
Ages ago. Lost it somewhere in travels, probably somewhere in Calgary. I think I put it down somewhere and did not pick it back up again. And I was sad to see it go because I like that hat. And then my wife surprised me and got it for me another one for Christmas. So,
oh god, I'm so scared to do this. All right.
I think technically it's the only Ghostbusters thing I got for Christmas.
Surprisingly, I didn't. What did I get for Christmas that was Ghostbusters? I don't think I got any Ghostbusters related.
A lot of fans out there, like the hardcore, that the family, that's all they get them. I'm kind of past that. Mostly because I spend most of my days wandering around the house grumbling, got too much stuff, where am I put the... So nobody... I think my wife said the hat's safe because he's just going to keep it on his head, so...
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, jeez. God, I'm so
Kapow.
concerned about this. So this is going to go between... I see. Duh. Physics. Of course it would go between that. Okay.
Geometry, technically.
Oh.
Did you see the guy having a meltdown? I guess he's got some science YouTube or TikTok or something. People ask him questions. And somebody asked him whether ice was a rock. And by the strictest definition, according to geology, by the strictest definition, ice can be regarded as a rock. And they actually do study ice as if it's a rock. To which somebody then asked, so does that mean water is lava? To which he said, no, that's stupid. And then he looked up the definition of what lava is. And he said, yeah, I guess water kind of is lava. To which somebody then asked, well, I'm 80% water. Does that make me a lava monster? And by the end, he's like, fine, sure, I guess.
What do you all want from me?
What do we want from me? And that's why teachers quit all the time.
This is correct, yeah.
Okay.
Wow, this is... Holy moly. Okay. So we're going to put...
Spider-Man 3. I'm done and you're not.
You got that part already... You've got this on? You got...
Yeah!
Holy
I will tell you right now.
Shitballs.
So that yellow case that holds my old screwdrivers is under the middle bit, like where the joint is there, because it's roughly the right height. And then my zoom case I've got under the end of this new piece, and it's kind of holding everything in the right position.
Oh boy, I am hosed supremely here. You've got everything to hold stuff in the right position. I have none of that available to me at the moment here, which is
I'm telling you right now, where's my... Oh, it's buried. I don't know where it is.
Holy
but let's say if somebody had like wood planks, so like, what is that, about 1 inch? So if you cut yourself a chunk that's at 1 inch thick and then one at 2, and you had a bunch of those lying around, it would not hurt, because they would be perfect, those blocks, for probably another one for more like 3, because if you're in the early stages and you've got like the steering column and you got to do all that engine flipping.
So
yeah, that'd be so 3 inches to go on either side. Basically, I'm saying in retrospect, I wish I had wood blocks lying around.
I was gonna say, all I'm hearing from you is don't do this on a webcam on the corner of your desk, like I'm trying to do.
No, this is it's what I'm doing too. Just because it's in all these pieces and it's impossible to like hold the pieces in place and screw them in.
Yeah, that's
like
I'm trying to strategically place screws here so that I can at least get it to a point where I don't have to hold it in place, and then.
You have any? What about hardcover books? Do you have any like hardcover novels? Those are a good thickness usually.
Yeah, I got those. They're not in this room. That's not good radio for me to get up and leave for 10 minutes. So we're gonna wing it. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna do it live.
Wing it. Do it live. Have you watched the history of swearing?
I have. I gotta say, Nicolas Cage is the most delightful part of that. Just to have him as the host, trying to get you from point A to point B is...
Not just the host, but I was delighted to discover that all the little animated bits, he plays at least one role in every one of them, voicing some character. Yes. Although, I don't know what I think of his jet black beard and hair, frankly.
I didn't really notice that. Kelly did point that out, that it was like, ooh, Nick.
Yeah, that's
come on, buddy.
But I mean, he is playing like uber Nick Cage host,
he is the heightened Nick Cage there.
He is the heightened Nick Cage, so that's all right. We'll let it go. Oh, remember I told you I got the signed pictures from Wizard's World? 5
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just 2, and I was like, good enough. And then they sat around in those Mylar envelopes. And then the other day, I pulled them out
sleeve or whatever they came in.
Yeah, I was like, I got Ivan Reitman and I got Paul Feig. Perfect. And then I slid them out and realized that I don't know why they didn't do it, but rather than it's transparent on both sides. They could have put it pointing out a picture on both sides, but they put it so I thought the back of a second picture was the back of the front picture. So I actually have a signed Joe Medjuck, that one where he's sitting on the set with everybody.
No way.
Joe Medjuck signed, and
oh my god, that's awesome.
The trailer Ecto under the tarp photo signed by Jason Reitman.
Wow. Dude, that's awesome.
To which I'm kind of like, why isn't it a signed photo of Jason Reitman? And then I was kind of like, well, I guess maybe he doesn't have a lot of
he doesn't have
Ghostbusters
headshots.
Photos.
Yeah.
Well, he'll have headshots, but it's like they're not Ghostbusters related. I still would have taken a headshot of him. You know what? I would have taken him signing like the photo of him as a kid, like in the puffy parka on the set. Sign that.
That would have been cute.
That would have been
fine. Joe is one of those people that is not as well known among, if everybody's looking for autographs, they're not looking for Joe autographs, but to
I'm
us,
looking for Joe.
Yeah, I was gonna say Joe is one of those people that's very hard to track down and very hard to get a hold of, and doesn't really make a whole lot of public appearances, obviously. So, dude, that's great.
Did I tell you about the time I tracked him down?
Yeah, I think we aired that on like our first season, didn't we? That little phoner interview?
No, there was no phoner interview. It never turned into an interview is the thing. But this would have been many years ago, and somehow I managed to find Medjucks in Santa Barbara, a Joe Medjuck in Santa Barbara, and rolling the dice called it. And got
how
Joe
many
Medjuck
Joe Medjucks could be, in that
living in
Santa Barbara Montecito area? Yeah.
And the funny part was very intimidating because I think his wife or somebody picked up, and I was like, "Yes, is Joe Medjuck there, please?" Yeah, just 1 minute. So slightly confused, and then he comes to the phone. Hello, I'm like, "Is this Joe Medjuck, producer of Ghostbusters?" Yeah. How did you get this number? To which I explained who I was and what I wanted to do, and he said, "Yeah, I'll call you back." He never did, which is fine. Fair enough, Joe.
That was him politely telling you to buzz off. Yeah.
What are these CMs? I have CM screws from the last kit, and no flippin' clue where they were supposed to.
CM was all the stuff that we just did on 22A.
Well, I think I put those in with LMs, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, the big plate goes in with LMs. That's right.
It's the CMs
I skipped a step.
Yeah.
The CMs are for the whatever you call it, the trailer.
Put on that
chassis
middle
thing.
chassis, the rear chassis frame, I guess they're calling it.
All right. Spider-Man 3 dance rescinded.
I was gonna say, how did you cruise through that so? I mean,
well, I did cruise through it.
I've been struggling here, but not as bad now. Like the good news is I've gotten it completely fastened for the most part here. What else am I missing? This guy here. What else is going on?
Do the hustle.
Man?
Is that upside down? Yes. Oh, shoot balls. That's what you're talking about doing the flip?
Yeah, the flip. Because you gotta put the screws in from the bottom, from the underside.
Yeah. So now I need to switch my improvised blocks from one side to the other. Oh no! It's gonna be sitting on its stupid engine.
Here, yeah, exactly. That's what I did. I was very, very concerned by putting it on the engine because I didn't want, that top plastic part to crack. That happened the last time around too.
It's a lot of weight on the engine.
Okay, so it's gonna go there.
We'll just we'll give it a try.
We'll give it a try. Yeah. So for those of you that are on the audio version, basically what this is, it's the wheel well, the bottom of the rear wheel well of the car, and we're just trying to get that rear chassis.
The bottom what?
Wheel well? No.
The rear wheel well. Could you say that a few more times?
No.
Say that again fast.
No.
Well, fine then.
But the problem is that it's on the underside of the car, but you've got to bolt it from the top. So it's a little tricky. Go to the YouTube channel and see Chris and I struggle through it.
Struggling. And where are those supposed to go? The shocks. Just out of the way, I guess. Through the middle. Yeah. Okay.
They kind of go through the middle. That Y-shaped part there.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Okay.
I got
all right.
2.
God, 4. Half the screws have to go on one side and half the screws have to go on the other.
Did I get these 4? These 2, I mean? 2. These are missing.
Why are there 2 screws on these guys? Genie on the flim flam. Okay, what is that? What? What?
This is great radio for everybody listening on the podcast version. It's just like,
all right. No, this is me. I'm slowly starting to realize what the heck you're talking about. This is semi-nightmarish.
What is this jibber jabber?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Baby, don't hurt me.
No more. Whoa. Whoa.
I really enjoyed the Night at the Roxbury movie. Not gonna lie. I'm sure.
I'm old enough. I just enjoyed the song when it came out.
Well, the song as well.
Years later.
Yeah. Let's see.
All
right.
Where's my screwdriver?
This is It's going great, everybody. Welcome to hour 12 of us building our... Perhaps we will not be getting to stage 26 as I initially thought we might.
No, back into place. You were there.
All right, so I got 2, 4, 6. That
6,
is a
8.
loose
Who do we appreciate?
Loose screw is not a good sign.
Have it back incorporated.
Oh, man. Rest in peace. Why is this not going?
Make our dreams come true. Doing it always. This time. None of these are pre-tapped, so this is gonna suck.
If we were smart, this would be the part in the video where you would see the time lapse. It would speed up. And you would never see getting these 10 screws in.
Well, we better find a topic of conversation real quick.
Have you seen any movies lately? What have you been watching?
I watched... started Chernobyl, because, needed something to pick me up.
I was going to say, it's a real uplifting
Oh, man, I'm so ready to slap most everybody in that thing. Holy cow.
Chernobyl was on HBO.
Yeah, started that. What else? There was a Netflix one. They haven't started their new movie a week, have they? Is it a week or a day? I can't remember.
I don't think so. I mean, HBO has really been rolling some stuff out lately, but
Netflix, there's one with Crossfire. I don't know. It's a new one. But a guy who's a robot AI. It was kind of so-so. I can't even remember it, frankly.
I was going to say, it can't be that memorable if you can't remember what it is here.
Just so-so.
This one is not sticking, and I don't know why.
With what's his name from Falcon from the Avengers?
Anthony Mackie?
Anthony Mackie, thank you. I forget what it's called, but he's the robot AI guy. And it's... Get in there! That is not going in there. That is not listening.
Yeah, that's interesting. We finally just started... This is how far behind we are. We just started Toast of London. We're 2 episodes into Toast of London.
Toast of London. Which one is that?
That's with the guy with what's his name in real life from What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Jackie Daytona.
Yeah. Oh God. What's the recording guy's name where he always introduces himself when he clicks the button? I haven't watched any Toast of London yet, but I saw the clip where he keeps having to take his hand off the talk button.
The talk button, yeah.
To gesture with something, and it just drives him over the...
There's in the very first episode, he goes to a voiceover record session, and all he has to do is one word, yes. And I was howling because they make him do it like 20 times, and then somebody in the booth gets on the Snoop mic and is like, yes, we really lost the energy on the last one. We were just wondering if you could do it again. And he just starts yelling, yes, yes. Like, it's so painful and so true to life at the same time. It's kind of funny, but yeah. So we just started watching. Why isn't this going into place? I
seriously, why did you?
I'm not gonna lie to you. This one piece is not. The threads are not working.
The bits at the end? There, I finally caught it, I think.
The right side, the passenger side was fine, but the driver's side here is just not, the threads are not connecting.
Oh, I can't remember which side's what anymore.
Here. I feel like...
I've mostly been reading a lot of books, frankly.
I'm hosed. I might have to do this from the bottom just because of how hosed it is. You've been reading a lot of books. What have you been reading? Oh, another screw just fell out of the engine. That's always a good
I heard that.
sign. Jeez.
Reading up follow-ups to Old Man's War, John Scalzi. That was a good one.
How is that? I'm not familiar. I'm not well read, as the kids say.
I don't know how much... I mean, if you like it, go on and read the ones after it, because he keeps expanding on the universe. But Old Man's War is... essentially like interstellar war, but the laws of relativity are still in play, which means they ship people off to go fight a war, and by the time they get there, 50 years have passed back home, sort of thing, or 10 years back home. So basically it follows him through the book as he goes from campaign to campaign to campaign, and by the end of it he's like, pushing 90 in linear time, but he's still kind of mid-30s or whatever.
Yeah.
Hence Old Man's War. It was a good one.
I think I figured out
finished.
What screws fell. Okay,
where did those go? I finished the most recent Charles Stross one, which I hope someday somebody turns into a movie or a TV show, The Laundry. I like the idea of British civil servants crossed with a little bit of James Bond fighting Lovecraftian forces. It's a great series.
It's a good premise, yeah.
It's a real good premise. But sort of like Hellboy, there's no happy ending to the series. Like it's the end of the world is inevitable. It's just a question of watching people move slowly towards. I guess at this point the book series is 15 years down the timeline or whatever, and things are getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
When do you read? When do you find that your reading time comes into play? Because I
evenings.
I was gonna say I try to do it during nap time, and now that nap time doesn't really happen
exist anymore
in this household, I'm losing out on my reading time. I'm moving ahead just to look at stage 24 and what it entails here, so that I can start sorting out my desk here.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, this was the last one.
Yeah, 10 go in there. The screw that fell out if you were listening or saw, it came out of the engine block, and I think I stripped it. It kind of stays in there.
Yeah.
Much like the 59 Miller Meteor that is the pride and joy of Ghostbusters fans everywhere. I have a feeling that my Ecto is going to have some
running problems.
Some rickety bits and pieces. All right, so I'm going to pull 24 out here, and it looks like it's going to be on the wheel well of this guy, so I got to figure out how to... What you can't see, I guess you can see, just in the very corner here, I've got a bookshelf right here, and it is the most unfortunate placement of the damn bookshelf here. No books on it, as we just established.
Let's see. Started up catching up on Elementary again. As I'm a big fan of all things Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes Elementary, that reminded me of my possible epiphany. Did you have a chance to look at that Columbo episode that I was talking about? Did you
find it? No, I haven't found it yet. No.
All right, so for everybody that's out there that has been following the plot of this podcast for all 6 years that we've been doing this, Chris and many other people on GB Fans are trying to figure out what the audio is that's playing in the Sedgwick Hotel as Egon is walking through the halls. And it sounds like Ricardo Montalban. We flat out asked Ivan Reitman when we interviewed him, and he was like, what? I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We had our own personal what's a forced ghost and I don't care moment with Ivan Reitman over the audio of his own movie.
It was the Harrison Ford, what the hell's a force ghost? But so everybody, I think there's kind of been a consensus that it's Ricardo Montalban, but nobody can find the Fantasy Island episode that it is. They've started looking at other things. We've been watching Columbo episodes, and Ricardo Montalban shows up in that as the killer. And I don't recall the line of dialogue now. It's like, I'm trying to remember what he says. It's like, that's a good
good
idea, Monty, or something like that.
If so, we've been heard. Something like that. Well, Alex has gone through all of... Well, season 7 of Fantasy Island is, I think, where people thought it would be. What is that? Oh, God.
I mean, Columbo doesn't really make sense from... That would have been 1975, 76. I think the last season was in 78. So this episode, I think, was season 6. So it would have been like 76, 75. So it would have been way prior to Ghostbusters. But
what the hell is this?
Could have been something that was airing on broadcast TV, or could have been, something that the sound designer worked on, to be completely and totally honest, and they just had the audio lying around.
Or somebody in a neighboring, editing bay was working on that they could use, or... See, this is great. I've now got a piece that I vaguely remember is somewhere in the engine, and I don't know. See, this is the thing we forgot flipping this thing over, is that there are a couple of pieces in this thing that just sit in place.
That just sit. There's some of the spark plugs. I think like the oil filter just kind of sits in there. What's one of the other ones here?
Now I'm going to have to go back through the magazines to try to figure out where the hell that goes.
What's just hanging out.
Fun.
And
yes,
this is user error. I want to point that out for anybody who's working at Eaglemoss or Hero Collector that is watching this and is like, "Oh, what are they doing?" It's us. Sorry, we're just it would be nice to have a big craft table and be working on this, but it's kind of tough with what we're trying to do here.
I honestly don't think it would be nice if they warned us about don't forget the tippy piece, but yes, for the most part, this is just us being. Don't forget, this is not in place. What?
So I'm working on the left front fender liner here, which is the first part of stage 24. Stage 24 is the front fender liners and the radiator, which we're going to get to, which is going to be fun. But
did you get to the end of your thought there? I got kind of interrupted there, but you suspect that.
So anyway, yeah, I suspect that might. There's a possibility that might be it. I need to actually go back and rewatch that episode, but Columbo episodes are 2 hours long, so that's quite an undertaking.
Well, it depends. If you're like me, and I always just assume that all fans are kind of this way. We've heard it enough. It's like me hearing samples of music in songs. Like I immediately go, "Oh!"
Well, and the problem is that I thought about it after the fact. Like I wasn't
this is the
listening.
Thing. But it's not an active listening thing. You're just sort of watching along, and it's like there's a piece of your brain that's a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
And when it plays, your brain goes, "Oh, it's that thing." So, I'm not saying you're wrong. And actually, frankly, given that, why am I starting to talk like Kermit the Ray Romano and Kermit the Frog?
Hey, what's going on?
You guys,
radio voice.
That's more Ray Romano. And then you go up to Googie, it's a bit more Kermit. But point being is, I think you're right. We've blown through most of Fantasy Island, so now we kind of have to go everything he did prior to 1984.
Yeah, it would have to be prior to 83, 84. And that's, I know that, Columbo being a universally loved, mystery show of the week, or actually every whatever it was, 3 weeks. It's possible that whoever the sound designer was, like, I'm going to put an episode of Columbo in there. Why it would be Ricardo Montalban and not, like Peter Falk or something, I don't know. But, and it may not be. Like, I don't necessarily remember a character who would have had the line of dialogue being sent toward them in this particular episode, but
I'm still suspicious that.
Oh, these are not DM screws. No, I need to pay more attention.
3 different types on these things.
I was going to say there are 3 different types of screws on this fender liner, so don't fall trap to
There's something about
not paying
the quality
attention.
of the audio that makes me think too that it might be some old movie he's in. It doesn't kind of, I don't know.
It has like a revolutionary, like he's leading some sort of political uprising or something tone to it, which would not be the case. The Columbo episode, he's a bullfighter, and ends up killing. It is about honor, so there might have been something in there about it, but I don't know.
What? Ricardo Montalban was stereotyped? Or stereotyped?
True.
Hang on a sec here.
Come
on! I lost my picture. Come on back, picture.
Oh, you are frozen. It's all right. You were frozen, but that's funny.
There we go. Hi!
There he goes. He's back. Hold on. There we go. Chris is back.
Okay, why aren't these going in?
So that's my thought. If anybody is a Columbo fan, it is currently streaming on Sundance. That's where we're watching it. So if you want to go and watch it and just give me like 20% of the credit for having the idea, if that's where it ends up being, and we finally solved the mystery that seems unsolvable here.
I think we're getting to the point where we're just going to have to go through his IMDb and start assigning out movies to people to.
It's funny, because
figure it out.
And especially back in the 80s, and even now, like, God, my daughter watches Puppy Dog Pals on the Disney Channel, and I swear to you they're using the exact same sound effect library as the Ghostbusters video game, because they have the goggles on, goggles off. It's they
never change. I'll tell you right now, I listen to stuff all the time. Same libraries I recognize from video games and shows.
And it makes sense because there's a lot of those shared elements, and a lot of people are using the same music and stock sound effect libraries.
Well, if you're a professional sound guy too, some of those things you've dropped like $2,000 to get like the 10 CD library of sound effects.
You've got the pack with the license included on it. Yeah, I mean, so it's also possible that this could just be stock somewhere. It could even be an outtake from something Ricardo Montalban did, and we'll never find it because it was just a stock thing that they threw into a Walla library for sound designers somewhere.
Well, there's nothing to be done for it. We're just going to have to... Why did I put that in there? Oh, you idiot.
I love the mid-thought, just like, why did I do that?
Who made me do that? Fess up!
Now, I want to make sure I don't pinch any wires here. There we go. There's like a brake line that kind of runs here to the...
I was trying to explain the Wilhelm screen to Thomas the other day. He kind of enjoyed it.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean...
and I'm down again.
Yeah, why do you keep freezing? What is that? The Wilhelm scream is...
I think I got a crappy internet connection just like you. I think it's time to get the old modem router updated.
Yeah, that was the bane of our existence. When we first started trying to do these episodes, it was just completely disastrous because of internet connection issues. On my end, not on Chris's end.
Yeah, well, later on we discovered I had some too, so...
Yeah.
Hello!
All right, I'm going to rearrange this. Oh boy, everybody's like...
See, it's still the same.
Watch the pretty lady. Watch the pretty lady.
Watch the pretty lady. Watch the pretty lady.
Shell game. Zoom chat. Shell game.
He's keen enough on things like the Stan Lee cameo that he's kind of hip to the idea of things
in joke kind of
jokes and Easter eggs in movies. And so I was like, hey, Wilhelm scream. He's also 8, so he kind of gets it and then forgets it almost immediately.
You have to show him the original Western, and I can't remember the name of the original Western right now. You have to show him that clip so that maybe you don't want to show him that clip, because it's like the guy gets a spear in his leg, and that's how
it's old black and white. There's no blood or anything.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah, once you show him that clip, and then you say, like, this just became... kind of an in-joke among sound designers, particularly because Ben Burt really started it, I think, with Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
And now and the reason I pointed it out is because it's in the first... He finally was like... Here's the problem with kids today, is they get introduced to pop culture stuff before they properly see it.
Right.
So he was fully aware of the whole... where are you supposed to go then? I'm just going to yell things randomly. He was all in on Grogu and Baby Yoda just because, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But he had never seen The Mandalorian. And finally he was like, can I watch The Mandalorian with you? So we watched the first one, and there's a Wilhelm scream in the...
Yes, yeah. I thought you were going to say, because it's in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, the very first one, too.
Yeah, we saw that, but he was much younger when we saw that.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's so much because it's, Lord and Miller, there's so much pop culture in that movie that is kind of over. The original, the 90s Casper with Christina Ricci. My daughter, I will say to her constantly, come with me if you want to live. And she's like, Casper says that. And I'm like, yes, Casper says that, but it's never mind. I'm not gonna tell you about Terminator until you're older, so don't sweat it.
To quote the '90s band, or at least the name of the band, "Pop will eat itself."
It's true. It really is. There was, I think it was Dan Amrich pointed out in Ready Player 2. Because Ernie Klein is just trying to load that thing with as many pop culture references as he possibly can. There's a quote that, and I'm paraphrasing it, I'm sorry, he says something to the effect of, I threw on my Detroit Lions ball cap and pretended that I was Magnum P.I.
And of course it's the Detroit Tigers.
Detroit Lions was Beverly Hills Cop. But again, it's like because you're trying to make the deep cut there. maybe Ernie's not a big sports guy. So it was like, I know it's Detroit, but whatever. And in his defense, the Detroit Tigers logo, no, it's nothing like the Detroit Lions logo. But anyway, it's difficult to keep up. And I'm sure 10, 20 years from now...
You know what? I'm not even sure. I'm not even prepared to blame Ernie, because I'm curious how much fact-checking has to go into his book. Because it is a book built on nothing but pop culture facts, there's possibly some poor associate editor that has to check all that shit. And in today's day and age, how do you check that stuff? You Google it. If you type in Detroit Tigers, possibly, or if you said 80s Detroit Tigers movie, Beverly Hills Cop might pop up. And then that poor, 20-something editor goes, oops, got it wrong.
Yeah.
Detroit Lion.
It's tough, and especially in a book that's, probably jam-packed like that.
I need the tweezers they gave me. Where the hell are the tweezers? I can't get that screw in with my big fat
the radiator cap here is going to be tricky as hell. I'm just pulling all of the stuff out of the tray.
That's right. It's tricky.
So that I can chuck this tray
what does it do?
To the void where you guys can't see.
Tricky.
I want to move this guy away. So I will say the one thing that I'm worried about, just moving the whole entirety of what we've done to the car right now, having the shock absorbers just chilling on the bottom like that, I actually want to tuck those in because I know they're going to break. I am 100% sure they're going to break. So I'm just going to... nobody can see what's happening here on camera or anything. Sorry, everybody, but... This is terrible audio and video. Just want to tuck... Oh, I can't because... Oh, no. All right, well...
Oh, no.
So here, for video's sake, I'm just going to put this here so you guys can see. There is just that little bit that sticks out there. So I'm just going to be as cautious as I can with it and make sure it doesn't snap. Hopefully. All right, so now we're gonna work on the radiator. I got my parts for the radiator here. Haven't read Ernie's new book. I'm still.
That's what I'm currently working on.
I'm still working on my Star Wars. I'm on the second Alphabet Squadron. Shadow Falls, I think, is the name of the title of it. But still working on that Star Wars book.
NM? Is it NM? NM.
NM. Oh, are you still doing the front fender? Front rubber baby buggy.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Rubber baby
bugger.
Stop it.
It's the whiskey, guys. I'm sorry.
Stop.
Hey, while we're working through this, I do want to send a shout out to all of the people that have been responding still to the things we're looking forward to in 2021. Because after we did last week's episode, we called out some of the stuff on social media that you guys had told us that you were looking forward to. And then more so in the comments of that episode, we got some more stuff that, it's good to hear people feeling optimistic lately. I'm trying to feed off of the positive vibes now at this point.
I get the impression that once things safen up a bit, Camp Wakanda is a go.
Everybody really likes the Camp Wakanda idea. That's Joe Riccadelli. Well, can we talk about that? That Joe Riccadelli is probably one of the nicest people on the face of the planet.
That's right.
Joe said
and
that
made a point of telling us we were both right.
And I want that to stick because there are rare times where you and I disagree on something that we can both be right in the situation. But yeah, it's that sort of Macelli, debate between the Italians.
Angela.
Riccadelli.
Riccadelli.
So anyway, I want to give Joe credit where credit is due with the Camp Wakanda idea because that was one of his.
Maresy dotes and dozy dotes and little lambs eat ivy.
But yeah, I like this idea. I also just really want to go camping, guys. I want to get out of the house.
Just get out of the house.
I want to get out of the house. I'm so tired of being home. But also, I just love camping. I love going out, and I love hanging out around the fire and basically having the conversation that you and I usually have on a Wednesday night recording this podcast. Is what ends up happening around the fire, like just talking about Beverly Hills Cop and defending Beverly Hills Cop 3, which is usually what my camping trips end up coming down to because I love Beverly Hills Cop 3, and I will defend that stupid movie. It is a stupid movie. I will admit to that, but I will defend it.
I feel like I've seen more movies, but at the same time, I don't think I have.
All right, apologies to everybody that's on the video here.
Croods 2? We saw Croods 2.
Croods 2. I don't recall seeing Croods 1. Is it good? What is? I mean, again, we're talking to two people who have kids. Goes? Yeah, as kids' fair goes.
Actually, it's kind of sharp in a few ways that I enjoy. In the second one, they run into more civilized people, more advanced prehistoric humans or prehistory humans, and the young son they live in a treehouse, and they're used to living in the wilds in like a sleep pile, whereas everybody gets their own room, and it's in a treehouse with windows. They're like, "What's this? It's windows!" And the kid becomes addicted to it, like it's an iPad. So it's like, "Come on, let's go outside. It's a beautiful day." He's like, "I'm watching Angry Birds."
Watching the window.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a strange one because it's not. I mean, it's complete fantasy prehistory. Like they got spider wolves and stuff like that. It's a kids movie. It's okay.
Have you guys watched Soul?
Yes, we watched Soul. I like that one a lot.
I really like Soul, and I appreciate that Soul was so good at me not having to explain death to a 3-year-old quite yet. Like it was one of those things where we could kind of skirt around it and not really have to deal with it too much. But it's just a lovely film to begin with.
For me, it's the kind of the opposite because Thomas vaguely remembers his grandfather, who he lost when he was 2. So we've already kind of had to have the talk with him about these things.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about Soul is that, it's not like we try to tell him we know exactly what goes on after that step, but it's nice that they kind of present everything's going to be all right approach to things.
Right.
Which I think goes a long way with kids. Really, at that point, that's really all they want to hear is everything's going to be all right.
I will say
and of course, it had a cat, so he loved the cat.
And there's a cat in it. Yeah, a very funny cat because once Teach ends up going into the cat's body, it's pretty funny. But spoiler alert, sorry.
Spoiler alert.
It's also one of those films too that we've now watched it like 2 or 3 times because when you have kids, that ends up what are we gonna watch? The same movie that we watched last night. I enjoy it. The one thing that I struggle with right now is that it's like, well, the whole thing is that you have to get your purpose. You have to find your purpose in life and the spark that makes it worth living. And without spoiling too much of the movie, like a lot of the things that people spark to are a lot of things we can't exactly do right now during a pandemic.
No.
And so it's just, it's kind of sad, but it's also like, okay, once we get back to normal life, we'll be able to start doing those things again.
Yep.
But it's a wonderful movie. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's music on top of John Batiste's jazz orchestrations that they did. The music is fantastic, man. Like once they get to that great beyond and you start hearing your Trent Reznor 9 Inch Nails like it's so good. So good. Still working on my radiator front and tank here.
Yeah, I'm working on the radiator here as well. Putting the pieces together.
So let's see, whereabouts are we in our timing here? All right, we're about an hour in. So
okay.
We
get to the end of this. I think I
was gonna say we'll leave it up to you if you want to. We'll take a look at the next step. And
I honestly think at this point I need to stop and I think we both need to stop and strategize our space a little bit here.
I was gonna say I'm gonna have to hang my top-down camera from the ceiling, which is what I should do in the first place.
Yeah, I'm looking at step 25. The pieces in that pack. There's a lot of them. They're very small with a lot of holes in them. I think
so. We're going to start there. We'll pick that up next time.
I think we really need to get our ducks in a row,
especially for our listening audience who has been kind enough to sit through for this whole shebang.
Hey, it's free. What do you want?
I know, it's free and it's worth every penny you pay for.
Worth every penny.
All right, so the fill cap just pops on there. Oh, that's dangerous. That's going to fall off.
it just sits, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where did that... I have a... Oh, there's the tape there. I think I'm going to start putting temporary Scotch tape over pieces that look
The
like
stuff
they're
that
gonna
just
fall
sits.
off.
Yeah.
There, pro tip, kids. Keep some Scotch tape
Just
around, because there's a
tape it
few
up.
pieces you're going
I
to
mean,
want to put
I've done
in.
that with things, like when we got the first hubcap, in the very first kit, it was like, I know I'm going to lose something here. So I started taping things to, oh, and I see this just kind of, I'm going to tuck this in just kind of like this. There we go. So that hose is not just chilling out. All right.
Over the
Stage
holidays,
24.
I saw somebody that bought themselves one of those three-hole punch binders that have the clear fronts that you can insert your own covers into.
Ah, yeah.
And they printed out and blew up color printouts of the Ghostbusters 2 trading card packs. So they put the front of the pack on the front of the binder,
wow.
the back of it, and then the spine, they put the title.
So you can flip through and take a look at all the trading cards?
I got into that. I went out and I bought a whole ream of the card sleeves, and I got myself the binder, and then realized that I actually put a set of them in the Cryptozoic binder for their cards. But maybe I need to clear those out, give them their own binder, and then start hitting eBay for cheap deals on the art cards and all that.
That's a great idea. Just as something that you can flip through, like a coffee
easier.
table volume. Oh, the Bathtub Monster. Sorry, I'm flipping through the magazine here because this is one of my favorite parts, just to see what we got here. Ecto-1,
They
the
fit
EPA.
nicely in the other binder together, but I don't think it's flip friendly, so I think I may still do it.
Speaking of binders, I still have not figured out a good way. I don't know if I'm just brainless, which I am, I'll admit it. But to get the issues of this into the binder that they've provided, you still haven't gotten your binder yet, have you?
No.
Okay. So once you get that, I'm going to need your help to figure out why I'm not doing this right.
Okay.
After we finish recording, I'm going to read this Wild Bill article because I'm enamored by this already. And the photographs are... Damn it, I love Bill Murray. Good on you, Bill. All right. You're still working on your radiator
Bill.
there? Yeah.
Keep hiding, Bill. Yeah, I'm just putting the cap in. So if you
stay
want
safe, Bill Murray. Please stay safe.
wrap it up. Well, frankly, I was kind of terrified with Larry King that the inevitable had come true, that we were going to start hearing about people who worked on the movie. So far, we've been lucky.
I was going to say, I feel like we've already lost so many people, especially on the first film. Just that I'm not ready to lose my heroes, man.
Making so many masks for everybody.
Annie Potts is she has really tackled social media head on. So if you're not following Annie Potts on Instagram and Twitter, please do, because she's so funny. And that's something. Well, here let's close out with that.
Sure.
And I think we kind of started getting into this with last year's. 2020 was a really brutal year for people who, passed away, and with Tom Pollock and several others, it was just sort of like, these are the people that we look up to. These are the people that we've aspired to be. Myself turning 40 this year, it's just sort of like we're at that spot where all the people that are the generation ahead of us we want them to stay safe, we want them to stay healthy, but we're going to start losing them, and it's an inevitable truth. So I don't want to take for granted some of the people that we are still with, and damn it if I am not so excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife for that exact reason, because I feel like it's going to honor all of those people who have already passed, and for the people who are still alive and we know contributed to the film, knowing that Jason Reitman had his advisory board, which he liked to call it, of people who were alumni that worked in Boss Films and worked on the original film and even the second film, that contributed to this new movie that we still have yet to see. And even if the movie takes another few months to release, if we don't get that movie in June, which I'm preparing my heart nards, to use a Ryan Dole term, since we've been
I hadn't heard that one.
Referring back to my good friend Ryan Dole. I'm preparing my heart nards to be kicked thoroughly with another delay. Like I feel like it's going to happen. So I'm just preparing myself for that. But
the movie itself is going to be heart nards kicking. Like
the movie, it's very difficult as it is. So and for all of you out there that I know that it's going to be devastating and it's going to be a kick to your heart nards when it if it moves, when and if it moves again, just prepare yourself, and it's going to be worth the wait if that does end up happening. But what else you got in terms of final? Did you finish the radiator? I saw you put it down.
Done.
So
I'm
yes.
done. Mine sticks a little bit better in place than yours does. But now I just need to figure out where the hell that piece came from.
Ooh, my fill light goes. Wow, look at that. My top-down light was my fill light, and I'm losing beauty on this side. Final thoughts. This is always fun, Chris. I love these building episodes. I feel like we need to do another one very soon because we're on issue 8, and I think I'm on like issue 12 now. In terms of pieces, it's not as bad as Craig and Jake of Yes Have Some, where they've both taken pictures of the giant stack of. They've got like 20 kits still waiting to go, but we're a little bit behind.
But we're way behind Jason at Ghostbusters News, who I think is, last I saw, in the mid-40s.
Always. I mean, the story of our lives. We're always 40s. Behind Jason at Ghostbusters News. Always behind him. But that's fine. That guy works tirelessly, and I wish I had the energy that Jason has. So.
A 35-year-old me would be mad about it, but 47-year-old me is like, yeah.
Nah, yeah.
He's putting the work in. What am I got to be mad about?
But, so thanks so much, everybody out there joining us, both on the YouTube and in the audio stream. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, we have been posting all of the episodes up to the YouTube as well. Even if they're audio only, it's kind of nice to get the transcript there. So if you can't listen to us, if you're trying to do other work and you just want to see the captions, kind of nice to have that too. So subscribe to us on YouTube. I hate to be that person. Smash that subscribe button, but please do, because not only does it show us that you're out there watching, but hopefully we'll show others that we're out there. We're doing stuff for you guys. But
if you haven't already, maybe take a moment and give us a review on iTunes, because I think the last ones we got were many years ago. So
that will also help. I know if you search Ghostbusters on Spotify, we have fallen back in the count, which is fine. I mean, again, it's not to be number one, but I would love for people who search Ghostbusters on Spotify to be able to find a Ghostbusters-related podcast. We're trying, guys. We really are. And for all of you that are longtime listeners and supporters, thank you so much, because it really means a lot to us. So until next week, we have a very fun Real Ghostbusters themed episode. I am so excited to dive into with you on that, Chris. So we'll see you on the other side.
Jazz hands.
Ya-da-da-da-da-da.